When people think of being a developer, they usually focus on their coding skills. But coding skills can only take you so far. The developers that succeed have soft skills. And in this video, I'm going to break down the soft skills that you need to become a better developer, even if you're just starting out. The first one is going to be the most obvious one, and that is communication. But I don't just mean talking to people or writing emails. Good communication as a developer means you have to be really good at being able to communicate your thought process and also give precise information. For example, if you find a bug and you don't know what it is, you can't just go to someone and say, this just doesn't work and I can't figure it out. Someone with good communication would be able to explain what they tried, what their thought process is, and why it doesn't work, taking into account someone else has just looked at it for 1 second. So you have all this context that you have to explain in a way they're going to understand. This makes it easier for people on the team to be able to help you. And if you can articulate your problems really clearly, it's really good for career growth. And as you get more senior, this will become even more important. So I would recommend when you're just starting out to kind of throw yourselves into situations where you have to be able to explain things clearly. Because as you're moving up in your career, you will be expected to contribute more, be able to explain your work to non-technical people, and that means coming up with technical solutions and being able to convey them to different people in parts of the business. And you don't want to just get stuck having not done that from the beginning and then suddenly you can't move up because you don't have this skill. The second soft skill is being curious and willing to learn. Everyone that works in tech knows it moves really fast. There's always new frameworks, new tools. AI is becoming a huge thing. And if you're resistant to learning things, you're gonna fall behind. And I think what ties into this is being humble about what you don't know. I mean, there's no point having an ego because you've been working for 5 years and then something is new and you don't want to admit how much you don't know about it. You might as well just kind of throw yourself in and be curious about it and, ready to take it on. And when I first joined, I didn't really have an ego, but I was kind of scared to, admit I didn't know things, I guess, because I didn't want to look stupid, which is a common fear amongst beginner developers, I think. But after I got over that and just started being really curious about things, how does this work? How does that work? Can you invite me to this meeting? I want to know about this, even if it's not directly related to my work. You pick up so much and you just become so much better. And also people feel that enthusiasm when you're, curious about things. They want to help you because they can see that you're interested and you want to learn, and then they will give you their time and take you through things, and that's like the best thing you can do for learning. And this in turn makes you more confident because you've worked across different things, and even if you're not an expert in all those fields, you've touched on it, and then maybe you can use that little piece of knowledge in something that will help in this meeting or that meeting. So it's just overall great for you to develop as a developer. Another big one is teamwork. And I think some people may think just because you're working in a team, you are good at teamwork. That's not true. It kind of goes beyond just being able to get on with people around you or work well with them. I mean, what does working well mean? Well, good teamwork, I would say, means that you are good at sharing things with others. So when you can share some knowledge, if you can see there's gaps in someone else's knowledge. And I would see this as an opportunity to grow yourself as well. But, if you're proactive in, let me just call you about this and explain it properly so then for next time, rather than just giving them the answer. Because this will improve your communication because you're explaining something clearly to someone else. And that always improves your own understanding and your communication. And also, of course, it's beneficial for the other person and your whole team. And this is not limited to only being a senior or, a more experienced developer. I've only been working for about 2 years and I feel like I could, I help people that are more senior than me on things that they just don't know about. I mean, loads of people are going to know things and you're going to know things, and you don't necessarily know everything together. So there'll be a lot of opportunity to share knowledge. It just creates a better team environment. You will look forward to your job a lot more probably as well. But yeah, helping other people is definitely a win-win. The next soft skill I would say is really important is problem solving and taking initiative. And I don't mean problem solving in actual code. This is really, I think, what takes you from a more junior to a more kind of like mid-level role. And it's something I'm actively trying to do, and that is trying to be able to kind of spot things in your current process, or, you know, and being able to suggest improvements to processes, propose better solutions. If you keep coming into the same issues with whatever it is, actually take time and think, actually, how can we just stop this happening and, you know, create a fix for it? And this isn't just in a technical way. This can be, you know, just general. If you know, some kind of meeting arrangement isn't working out, suggest something else, take initiative. It's just thinking beyond your own tasks, you know? Like if maybe you rely on another team for some work and it delays your work all the time, maybe suggest, actually, why don't I learn about this, bring it to our team, and then it will fix this issue of being delayed on this work, and that will improve our delivery. Something like that. It's just going a little bit beyond getting your tickets done and thinking further, thinking, you know, wider than your actual just ticketed work. And the last kind of soft skill I would say is really important is adaptability and emotional intelligence. This is more about how you're handling different situations, including handling changes in your team or your work, and also handling feedback gracefully. This is bound to happen at some point in your career where you're just thrown into something completely different. I mean, I changed my tech stack in my company after the first 6 months of me ever working, and I was just getting the hang of stuff. I was thrown in to a different team, which was my choice. I took it on, but they had a completely different tech stack and I just had to learn it. And because I was new, maybe I didn't have that kind of attachment to the work I had been doing before that. But maybe I have kind of seen it in more senior developers where they just struggle to adapt. And I think it's really important that you're able to do that and just kind of accept. It ties into the willingness to learn and being curious instead of resisting it, kind of handling it and just being adaptable. And if you can really master this kind of not panicking over changes or, you know, feedback or anything, then you will, like, rather than being like surviving in the environment, you'll be thriving. And also, more to the emotional intelligence bit, also giving people feedback in an emotionally intelligent way and not being rude about it or sounding overly critical. Sometimes I've read PRs where the comments are just so blunt and borderline rude. There is no benefit to being rude to someone. You just have to handle it better. If you suggested some constructive feedback in a great way and someone hasn't listened, that does not mean that you then become annoyed and rude about it. You just have to handle that in a different way and work out something that will work. And of course, I'm not talking about edge cases where that person is just never going to learn and, you know, they've got, you know, performance issues. I'm just talking about the general feedback you give to people. And this is both like written feedback and in-person feedback. It's really important that you know how to deliver that because it's a kind of sensitive thing. And being able to be good at that probably will give you some kind of basis for leadership as well, because that is all about handling people and managing a team. And if you want to get into leadership one day, that's an area you should really focus on. I think that sums up most of the soft skills I would say that you need alongside technical skills to be a really great developer. Let me know what you think, or if you have any others to add, drop it down in the comments. But other than that, I'll see you next time.